What's good everyone, my name is Chefkoch and today I want to talk about a very prolific underground artist and the creator of VampPlugg, Dani Kiyoko. Dani Kiyoko is a rapper and producer from the New Orleans area who started making music as a kid all the way back in 2012. Back then they would write songs and make beats on the iPad, but they would take music seriously as a teenager in the mid-2010s. And being part Japanese, Dani decided to use the name Kiyoko for their rapper moniker, which interestingly enough means pure child and is often given to express the wish for a daughter to grow up with a pure heart, honesty and moral integrity. At home, Dani's family would often listen to gospel music and Dani knew how to play the guitar, the piano and the drums, so they always were a very musical child, and next to that, their uncle actually was a bounce rapper. Yet ultimately, it was the old soul Brooklyn crew pro era with artists like Capital Steez or Joey Badass that first drew Kiyoko into the rap game. And from there on, they developed their taste and got into Chief Keef, Lil Wayne and Young Thug, who are amongst their most important inspirations to this day. Then in 2015, Dani Kiyoko created their first SoundCloud account and would scroll to the homepage to find people to send beats to. And nowadays, their first public production credits trace back to 2019, where they worked with artists like I Slur When I Talk, Jerkboy Santana, Lisha G and Nosgoth. And then in 2020 they produced for Acid Soldier, I9 Bonsai and Chris Too Easy amongst others, which makes sense since Dani was a member of the So Evil Boys collective at the time, just like Soldier and Chris. Moving to 2021, Dani Kiyoko started producing for Cartier God, Lazy God, Lucifer, Rodeo Glow, Static, Xavier Based and Uke, so they were very active in the Reptilian Club Boys entourage and Jerk revival scene. In addition, Dani produced the EP Ballad of the Dead by Baby Goyard from July 2021, but other recent production credits include work for Seven Nights, Lifeless Garments, Lil Zelly, Rolling Tracks and 10K. Next to that, they produced two songs from X-Files by Cartier God from January 2022 and were even featured on Destiny's Room. Honestly, I really liked Dani's Cartier God collabs because both artists work really well together and hopefully we'll hear more from them in the future, but now let's move on to Dani Kiyoko's rapping career. Their first public songs trace back to 2019 on SoundCloud and went into the abstract hip-hop and experimental rap sonority. And moving on to 2021, that was the time that Dani Kiyoko created VampPlugg, a subgenre consisting of darker R&B/plug music, and the instrumentals are typically characterized by floaty, ethereal synth pads, heavy reverb, and bright, frosty leads which create these very icy sounding atmospheres, while drum work typically features subdued 808s, sparse perk programming, as well as frequent hi-hat rolls. An essential album for this subgenre has to be Evil Star CEO from May 2021, which is a compilation record of different underground rappers on VampPlugg beats. An example for this would be the song Eyes Up by Lucifer. Thanks to this album, VampPlugg was able to spread pretty instantly throughout the scene, and many underground artists have made VampPlugg songs since then, like Baby Goya, Cartier God or Zem and Shorty amongst others. VampPlugg for sure helped Dani to gain traction in the rap scene, yet another style by them I want to talk about is the Real Street Runner tape series from 2021 to 2024, reminiscent of DJ Spinatic's Street Runners mixtapes with artists like Lil Wayne, so they are clearly inspired by 2000s trap music. A trend that has actually come back a lot recently in 2025, so it is fair to say that Dani was an actual trendsetter for that, since they came back with that sound in 2021 already. Now Dani's Street Runner tapes have a more modern spin on the OG trap sound, and the first edition features remixes of familiar beats like New Boys You're a Jerk or 6 Foot 7 Foot by Lil Wayne, which is sampled on With the Gang. The second Real Street Runner tape then came out in September 2022, and the trap soundscape on here sounds way more polished. A lot of the songs emulate the sound of Gucci Mane's legendary 07 to 09 mixtape run, while others are clearly influenced by Chief Keef's Chicago drill sound, which is especially visible on Get What's Mine freestyle. I personally really enjoyed this project and it for sure was ahead of its time, because the rest of the underground scene seems to just now be catching on to the OG trap revival. Now the third installment of the Real Street Runner series is the most experimental so far. It came out in March 2023 and on here the classic trap sound is fused with a lot of current underground trends like Rage or Jerk, so if you want a more contemporary approach to trap music, for sure listen to this tape. Moving on, we also have the album Deadweight from November 2022, which goes into the ambient trap sonority, But interestingly enough, we also have some shoegaze songs on here, which proves that Dani Kiyoko isn't scared to try out new genres. That's why it's fair to say that they are a very versatile artist, which is also proven on their next album titled Inhaling Heavy Metals from July 2023, on which we can find rage, drum and bass and even witch house songs. And in 2024, Dani Kiyoko launched a new style boldly coined party music, together with producer Cam's Blood, and it's a hyper-saturated rap style that draws heavily from 2010's high-energy music like Chief Keef, Kesha or Soulja Boy, but filtered through a singular updated lens, and you can find this sonority on Welcome to the Party from April, as well as on Shifuku from August 2024. If you like music by Che, Lucy Bedrock or Samason, Dani Kiyoko's party music for sure will be something for you, and if they ever make a remake of Project X, I need to hear something from these albums in the soundtrack. Next to that, I want to talk about the Kids One Sutechi from November 2024. Sutechi means stitch in Japanese and is the name of Dani's own collective / brand, and originally Dani devised it as a New Orleans collective, but found the scene unreceptive to their vision. That's why most members are from elsewhere. Now the Kids One Sutechi is another party music record and features a couple of the members of Dani's collective. Next to that, Dani Kiyoko said in an interview that the Kids One Sutechi is inspired by the modern trap classics Lit and Love is Rage 2, and in my opinion it is Dani's most polished and best sounding album so far, and my favorite song on here has to be LA for the Weekend. In addition, we have the sequel, The Kids One Sutechi 2 from April 2025, which was distributed by the underground label Run Along Forever and executively produced by M8I, as well as Easter Pink from February 2025 and Welcome to the Party 2, all three great party music albums with heavily distorted rage beats and experimental vocals by Dani Kiyoko. With that, we covered my personal highlights of Dani's discography. Of course, they have a lot more bangers on their SoundCloud if you want to dig deeper, but as a conclusion, Dani Kiyoko has to be one of the most prolific and versatile artists in the contemporary underground. Dani has been making music for a decade already, and they are a boundary-pushing artist. They even make heavy metal music with their band Femist on SoundCloud, therefore their work spans a lot of different genres. Next to that, Dani Kiyoko resists trend chasing, choosing instead to pioneer new sounds that reflect their personal aesthetic and era-spanning influences like the OG trap revival or the current party music movement, and Dani deserves more recognition for that. I hope that I was able to introduce you to Dani Kiyoko's music. Definitely check out their records if you haven't yet, and with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can hit 2000 subscribers before the end of the year. Cheers!